Many generations of Native peoples have lived their lives along the Susquehanna River, and their legacy continues today in the lives of living descendants, the preserved landscape of their homeland, and the items they left behind. Whether they walked along the Susquehanna thousands of years ago, lived in thriving communities, or lived their lives in today's society, their history and cultural heritage is still present today. They have many stories to tell us of celebration of their cultural identities, resilience, and their enduring legacy. This land of Native Lands County Park and the landscape across the river were important places in the history of the Susquehannock people who lived here more than 340 years ago. The Susquehannock people arrived in this area in the mid-1500s, creating towns overlooking the lower Susquehanna River, accessing the fertile soil of Lancaster County. By the early 1600s, across the river from the Zimmerman Center for Heritage today, there were thousands of Susquehannock people living in a community that was thriving in agriculture and trade. Controlling the fur trade, the Susquehannock people were respected as traders and were a powerful economic and political entity. Their influence was felt throughout the Chesapeake. In fact, the word Susquehannock is the name given to them by Algonquin people living in the Chesapeake Bay, meaning people of the muddy river. Susquehannock people would create a new planned community about every 25 years. And after living on the land for 25 years, resources were exhausted, and repairing longhouses, palisades, and other structures became impractical. They used the slash and burn method of setting fire to the landscape to clear the trees to prepare their community to be built. The last location where the Susquehannock people lived in their traditional way of life was here in today's Native Lands County Park. Today, you can walk in the footsteps of the Susquehannock people along the same landscape where they lived over 340 years ago. The Native Lands Heritage Trail starts at the Zimmerman Center for Heritage and continues through Native Lands County Park. This park is the 180 acres of preserved landscape managed by York County. The 1-mile earth and grass trail guides you over rolling fields and grasslands overlooking the Susquehanna River, preserving the landscape and viewscape that the people living in this community had over 340 years ago. The route passes through woodlands and open fields and is part of the Mason-Dixon Trail, shown by the blue blazes along the trail, and connects with Klein's Run Park. Native Lands County Park also includes the Dritt Family Cemetery, historic farmhouse ruins, as well as the historic Susquehannock settlement site. Archaeological excavations conducted in the 1970s by the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission help us envision what this landscape would have looked like over 340 years ago. Carol Oldenburg's painting reveals details of Susquehannock culture that go far beyond what can be gleaned by looking at maps, timelines, and artifacts. As we look over the rolling fields of Native Lands County Park still used for agriculture today, we can imagine the first farmers who were here, the Susquehannock women. Hundreds of acres of corn, beans, and squash were planted together and fed a community of an estimated 900 people. Called the Three Sisters, beans fixed the nitrogen into the soil, providing an essential nutrient for the corn and squash. The corn provided a stalk for the beans to grow upward towards the sun, and the shade created by the leaves of the squash held moisture in the soil and deterred the growth of weeds. The children would spend the day with their mothers tending the crops. This philosophy was described as tickling the earth with a hoe, and the earth would laugh with a harvest. Today, this landscape is considered the first farm in York County history. The Susquehannock people laughed, they cried, children learned and played games, and elders told stories. Longhouses were built to house their large families as they lived in the Haudenosaunee Iroquoian lifestyle. In the Susquehannock community, multiple families lived in one longhouse, all related by the mother's family line. When a Susquehannock man married a Susquehannock woman, he would join his wife's family in their longhouse. Everyone had a role to fulfill. Women farmed and cared for the home, while men hunted and fished. Both men and women had political roles. As a matriarchal and matrilinear society, women ruled the home, and essentially grandma, or the oldest woman in that family line, was the head of the household. Her wisdom and guidelines for the household were obeyed. Their longhouses, more than a dozen, would each house 50 or more family members. The longhouses were protected by a log palisade. Notice the clear view of the river from this high point, a strategic location to defend the town. War with other Native Americans and European disease had a devastating effect on their communities. By the time the Susquehannock built a town here in York County, they had lost over 2,000 people within 20 years. The Susquehannock only lived in this town for 4 years as they faced the pressure of Western expansion, disease, and conflicts with other Native peoples. Some members of the Susquehannock people returned to their homeland in Lancaster County several years later, now known as the Conestoga people. In 1763, the murder of the residents of this community was wrongly believed to be the end of their people. Today, people can trace their ancestry to the Susquehannock through documented survivors who fled after the massacre of 1763, and many were adopted into the communities of the Oneida, Cayuga, and Seneca. Although the trail's path across rolling meadows presents a peaceful scene today, this land has seen much controversy. Battles for possession between the Seneca and the Susquehannock, border conflicts between the Penn and Calvert families, and modern-day debates about development versus preservation are all a part of its history. Today, this landscape is a place for sharing a common heritage. In 2009, this landscape became Native Lands County Park, the only publicly accessible Susquehannock settlement site in their heartland. Our nonprofit organization played a role in preserving this important site, and now helps to tell its story. Whether you decide to take a hike on Native Lands Heritage Trail or tour the Zimmerman Center's Susquehannock Gallery, we invite you to learn more about the Susquehannock people who lived their lives overlooking the Susquehanna and descendants who share their lasting legacy today. Susquehanna National Heritage Area connects the people and communities of Lancaster and York counties to one another and to the nation through stories about this nationally important place. The National Heritage Area welcomes visitors, cultivates partnerships, and nurtures a strong regional identity.